As you may or may not have noticed in my last few vlogs, I have this really bad coleslaw there. Can you see? Well, usually it's up here and there. So, funny story is that I got this coleslaw from Steven Tyler. I'll insert the picture of us meeting in 7 years ago now, I think it was. I did a meet and greet, and Steven Tyler's obviously lead singer of Aerosmith. So I did a meet and greet with him, and I was crying hysterically, and I told him that I loved him, and he asked me why I was crying, and I told him I loved him since I was 14 years old, and I couldn't believe that I was actually meeting him, and I was like hysterically cool. And it was so silly because I just wasted the whole entire meet and greet, which was a lot of money, like way more money than I should probably admit to paying. Actually, I'll just tell you how much it is, because you can look it up anyways. It was $1,500 Canadian. It was literally a second. Like literally, I was there for, we walked in, we all waited in line, we walked in, everybody got their turn, and then it was my turn finally, and I was crying, and then I got to meet him, and Joe Perry was there, and I said something to Joe about playing Aerosmith Guitar Hero and how that I can never beat him, that I thought that he was cheating, and he laughed. And then I said that I really enjoyed them playing in Fenway, and he said, "Oh, you were in Boston? We were in Boston." And he started laughing, I think. And I said, "Yeah, I went to Boston to see you." And he said, "Oh, and now you're here to see me 2 days later in Toronto." And I said, "Yes." And I asked him to sign my back, which he did, which I'll insert a picture of my signatures here too. And then he I asked him to sign Wings as well, but Joe never did. And then Steven grabbed the grabbed the Sharpie, or he maybe had his own Sharpie, or he grabbed the one Joe was using, I can't remember. And he asked me why I was crying, and I told him it was because I loved him, and he said, "No, I love you." And I said, "No, I love you, you don't understand." And he said, "I love you, what's your name?" And I said, "It's Angie." And he gave me the biggest hug, and he said, "No, Angie," and he looked me right in the eyes and said, "I love you. And thank you for being a fan." And then he gave me the biggest kiss on the lips. And funny story is that ever since then, 2 days later, I have a coleslaw, so I tell everybody that this is my Steven Tyler coleslaw, which I think is hilarious, and I'm usually really proud of it. However, I need to get rid of it because it's been painful, and I've been waking up in nighttime and it's been bleeding on my pillow. And then one day I woke up and there was blood on my husband, and I was like, "Oh my god, you're bleeding," but really it was somehow from my lip. So we need to get rid of it. But that's my Steven Tyler Aerosmith story. He also signed my back. And then I met Joey Kramer. That was the same day I met Joey Kramer, which we met him before Steven and Joe. And we did a little thing with him where it was like a meet and greet, and we had cocktails with him, and he did like a private show for us. And there was only about 50 people, maybe. Actually, I just thought of something before I go. I actually wanted to say how I met Tom Hamilton, because it's actually a fun story as well. Yep. So, we were in Toronto. This must have been 4 years ago now, because I was pregnant with Ryder. 1 second. Let's chat and drive. So I was pregnant with Ryder at the time. I was thinking about 4 months pregnant with him, and Tom Hamilton, like I went to see Aerosmith, and they were doing a meet and greet before with Joey, and it wasn't like a meet and greet, it was like a thing where everybody is in the audience kind of thing. And not everyone, just the people who paid for it was in the audience, and then you could go ahead and listen to them talk. And it was just Tom and Joey, and the way they were doing it was that you had to get a special thing underneath your seat in order to be able to go up and ask a question, and only a certain amount of people got it. So I never got it, but then because I know the girl Amanda from the fan club, and I've talked to her for so many years, because I was a fan club member for over 10 years, I think it was like 12 years, and I gave it up this year because of the fact that they weren't touring. It was like $80 Canadian. All you really got was the chance to get tickets in advance, and it went by seniority so that I could get better tickets. And I've had good tickets. I mean, like, obviously I've had front row, I've had fifth row, I've had second row, all the way to 20th row, which I don't think I got those through the fan club. But first row is not necessarily the best. The best place is actually at the end of the catwalk, which I feel like I could buy those tickets from Ticketmaster, which a lot of people do. So the benefit of having fan club is that you get to go to these cool things, you get to do these meet and greet things, you pay a little bit more money, but also I figured by talking to people that you can use their code, or you don't even need to use their code, because you could become a fan club member again, and it doesn't even matter, because I have 10 years seniority, but the person next to me literally had bought her tickets and become a fan club member like 6 months before. So I thought it was kind of unfair that I had been a fan club member for 10 years and she was in the same spot as me. So what's the benefit of that? So anyways, long story short, I went to this thing. Joey came out. He talked about his coffee again. I don't know if he talked about his book, but he walked around the crowd. We got some pictures with him. Me and a couple Aerosmith friends went and talked to his wife because we recognized her in the crowd. I'll insert those pictures too. And sorry, I lost my train of thought. And then when we met his wife, and we were talking to her, and then she took pictures with us and she tweeted it out, and then she said, you know, did you guys bring anything to get Joey to sign? And we said, yeah, but we're not going to worry about it. And she said, well, you know what, we'll go ahead and get your book signed for you. And then my friend Tracy was there, and she is good friends of Linda, Joey's wife, and turns out we ended up, we were supposed to go backstage, but then we couldn't go backstage because she said to meet her on the left side, and then we went to the left side, or whatever she said, we went to that side and she met the other side, so we missed our opportunity to go backstage. But then just before the show was to start, who was opening for him? Sammy Hagar was opening for him. And just before, when Sammy Hagar was on, I feel a tap on my shoulder, and some lady, I was standing to get a drink, I think, and I was talking to another Aerosmith friend who had come from up north, who I knew from up north, who we just happened to be at the same concert. So I was talking to her, and I have a tap on my shoulder, and she said, oh, are you Angie? And I said, yeah. She's like, Aero Angie? And I said, yeah. She's like, come with me. So then I ran with her, and she said, do you have your book to be signed? Joey wants to sign it right now, and he wants to meet you. And I said, okay, cool. And then I went and looked for all my friends that I knew that wanted stuff signed, and by the time I found them, we all gave her books, and she's like, okay, now we don't have time to meet him, but he'll sign his books and I'll come find you. So then we gave her the book, and he signed them all, different things, and I'll insert my picture of my book here. And that was really cool. But then Tom, before all of this happened, Tom was on stage, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to just ask Amanda, can I ask him something? And she said, Angie, are you going to ask him for a signature? And I said, yes. And she's like, don't ask him because he's he's way up on stage, he's not going to be able to do it, and he's going to feel obligated. And I said, but I'm the last person, can I just do it? And she's like, no, don't do it. And I was like, I'm going to do it. And she's like, no, don't do it. And then I did it, and which is really ballsy of me, because I was literally sitting there crying that he was there, he was the last signature I needed, and I hadn't got him. And I knew that I couldn't have the opportunity to do it any other time, because he doesn't do meet and greets. And this is the first time I've ever even saw him this close doing, like, chatting. So I did it. And she was kind of mad at me, but you know what? It was a once in a life opportunity. I asked him a question, which I don't remember what I asked him, which I would love to know if someone has a video of that. And after I asked him the question, I said, okay, I just have one last thing. Actually, I think I asked him what was the craziest thing anybody ever got him to sign. And he said someone wanted him to sign their forehead, but he wouldn't do it because he was really worried they were going to get it tattooed. And I said, well, funny you should say that, because see my back? And he said, oh, that's cool, come closer. So I did. And he said, do you want me to sign that? And I said, yes. Would you sign it? And then all of a sudden the whole entire arena full of the fans, which I don't know how many people were there, maybe 100, maybe 150, including my friend Kelly, who you probably haven't seen in any vlogs, because when I hang out with her I don't really vlog, but you may see her in the next couple days because we're getting together. Her and her husband were there, and just like everybody was shouting, do it, do it, do it. And then I want to say that they were all screaming Arrow Angie too, but I don't know if that was in my head or if that really ended up happening. But he did it. He signed my back. I was crying again because I'm a fool, and he was like, don't cry, and then he reached down and he hugged me, and I think he kissed me on the cheek, which was kind of sweet. And I don't remember what he said to me. He was still talking to me. I don't remember what he said. So then that night I walked away with my last signature. And that was a completely different night, which was 3 years ago, not 7 years ago. Well, no, it was almost 4 years ago, and I still don't have it tattooed. I have the spot for it, I have the signature, I just need to go and get it done. So if anybody wants to donate some money to me to go get it done, I'd love that. I'm just always never have $100 laying around. You know, never, you know, I'd spend $100 on Ryder on bubbles and stuff that he doesn't need, but I would never go and buy myself something that I really want and that I deserve. And for my 40th birthday, I said that was what I was going to do, and I never did. But anyways, this was a long vlog. This is my story on how I got herpes from Steven Tyler. And how I met the whole entire band. So like I said earlier, about 9 minutes ago, like, subscribe, comment, share with all your friends, and tell me in the comments, what is your craziest experience you've ever had with a celebrity, be a rock star or an actor or someone famous. So, bye!